Okay, Game of Thrones season 3, episode 5. So Rob is having a lot going on in his camp. One of the lords who is on his side basically wanted revenge for what happened to his son when Jaime Lannister had choked him out. So they let Jaime Lannister go, but they did have two other Lannister children in custody who was Tywin's great niece and nephew, which really is not, they don't really matter to Tywin really like that. But they had these two children in captive or whatever. They try to exchange them for Arya and, they try to exchange them and use them as leverage for Arya and Sansa. But the old guy, the one that is his, one of the other lords of the north or whatever, he really wanted revenge. So he went in there and off the two little ones or whatever. When Rob found out, he basically told them that he wanted them all executed. And then his mom and his wife was basically telling them, like, you don't want to execute their leader or whatever, because if you do, their troops will not follow you anymore in this war. And Rob, again, completely dismissed what his mother said. So he dismissed the first thing that the mother said when she told him that he don't want to backdoor Walter Frey and go back behind his back and don't, go through what he said he was going to do. And which he did do that, and he ended up marrying the girl. And his mother told him that that's not a good idea. I know that you want to follow your heart, but you need to honor what you said you was going to do. And he still ended up back doing Walter Frey, honoring, and marrying a girl. And then, she told him not to do another thing, and he dismissed what she said. And then now this is the next thing that she told him not to do, and he ended up executing the guy. And all of the guys, the ones that was his inside of his house or whatever, they ended up leaving and going back to the north, and they not fighting for Rob no more. So now he lost half of his troops or whatever in this little battle war that he got going on. Now Stannis is just losing his fucking mind or whatever the case may be. So Melisandre leaves, okay, to go on some trip to go do whatever. And Stannis is at home in his castle. He goes and visits his wife. He basically tells his wife, who's been locked up for a long time, like he basically done her wrong. But she was like, look, Melisandre already came and told me, as long as you're doing stuff for, the Lord of the Light, then, then it's all good. So she must follow this Lord of the Light thing too. And so basically, the Stannis' wife is just as crazy as fucking Melisandre and Stannis, because she got three unborn babies in these little tanks, or whatever the case may be, and I guess trying to preserve their bodies or whatever. And they're not even living; they just in there like a fucking science project. Like that shit looked really crazy. And she was like, "Well, at least she's giving you a child. I can't give you anything, or whatever the case may be." But she gave her a child, a daughter. And then Stannis goes and visits the daughter, or whatever the case may be, and she locked up in some tower, singing to herself and playing with her, playing with her toys on her own. So she goes in there and let him know, like, I heard that he was in the war. How did it go? How did the battle go and stuff like that? She was basically talking about Sir Davos and how she haven't seen him in a while, and if he was okay, because he was the only person who ever came, to talk to her and stuff. And he was basically saying like, oh, so Davos is a traitor, he's in the dungeons, or whatever the case may be, he won't be coming to see you. So she all sad about that because her only friend can't come and see her. Her father don't come and visit her, and I'm sure the mother don't go in there either. And the mother lived like in the same area that she in, just in another room over. But like I said, they all fucking crazy. So, where Arya is with the Brotherhood, or whatever the case may be, the Hound asks for a trial by combat, so he fighting this other guy who believe in the Lord of the Lights too. And he had this flaming sword, and him and the Hound was getting at it, or whatever the case may be. But the Hound ended up winning the fight, and then the guy ended up dying. But then he came back to life, so they let the Hound go because he won. Arya pissed off because they let the Hound go. And but the Hound lost the fight. I mean, the Hound won the fight by combat, so it was his right to go. And then the guy, he had rewoken and it came back to life. And she was like, "Dad," like she was asking him questions because she trying to figure out if they could bring Ned back to life too. But they was like, it don't work like that or whatever. But he said that he had got killed 3 times and came back to life or whatever the case may be. So he was like, each time when he come back, he loses a piece of himself. It's like he different and shit. So the Brotherhood is still keeping Arya captive because they trying to take her to River Run to rob, so that they can pay for her ransom or whatever, or they gonna give them some money for returning her or whatever the case may be. Now, Jon Snow finally got him some fucking cutty. Okay, so the girl ended up, they on their way to the wall. The wall is asking him questions about like, how many guards they got, how many men they got, yada, yada, yada. So nobody knows that the commander is gone and half the troops is gone. So it's not that many people at the wall to defend no damn body, right? Um, so they like, so basically, the girl, she lures Jon into like this little waterfall cave thing. It was a cute little romantic spot, I guess, to have your first time if you was out in the wilderness and fucking where, right? And whatever. So she started stripping all her shit, her clothes down and everything. And basically, Jon was like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. But then he ended up getting tempted. It just started going in for it or whatever. So she ended up loving it for Jon first time or whatever the case may be. And, Jon ended up loving her too. So Jon and Ingrid is a thing. But Ingrid was telling Jon, like, you mine's and I'm yours. I don't care about these wildlands. And I know that you're not going to turn against your members of the Night's Watch. Like, she already know this. But she's saying that basically, like, if it comes down between all of them and him and her, he better choose him and her each time, like that, for real. You feel me? Because she going to choose him and her each time, like that. So that's how she looking at it. She looking at it as like them against everybody else, even though they rolling with the people, for real. Now, what else happened in this one? Oh, so Tywin gets wind of what Varys and them plan is when it comes to Sansa Stark. So he has this big old meeting with Tyrion and Cersei. So Cersei thought that shit was funny or whatever the case may be because Tywin told Tyrion that he had to marry Sansa, and Tyrion's like, hold up, she a little kid. Like, what the hell? I'm not dealing with her. Like, I'm not marrying her. You know what I'm saying? And he don't want to marry her, but Tywin was like, no, you're going to secure the North. This is better than what you deserve or some shit like that. Like, Tywin is a bitch to his son. And I can understand why Tyrion do have the shit that he do to his fucking father, for real, for real. So, and then Cersei over there laughing, and then he told Cersei, oh yeah, and you need to marry, Lance, so, Loras, Tyrell, who was the gay one or whatever. And she like, I will not remarry. I'm the, Queen Dowager. He said, you are my children. Y'all gonna do what the fuck I tell y'all to do. Or, and that's that, period. Like, Tywin runs the show. And the kids need to listen to what the fuck he says. So her little mouth turned serious real quick. I don't know. She would stop laughing real fast because now she got married, Loras Tyrell, who's gay. So Jaime and Brienne have like a little thing going on inside the shower or whatever. It's not like a little thing, but Brienne in the shower, and then Jaime comes in the shower because now they're at the Bolton's camp or whatever the case may be. And they are the prisoners of the Boltons until they release them to whoever, I think to Rob and them or whatever the case may be. So they just passing by there. So while they inside the shower or whatever the case may be, Jaime tells her like what happened at the last moments as he was the because he was the hand of the king King Aerys Targaryen, and how he ended up having to murk Aerys Targaryen because he was trying to use wildfire to blow up the whole city or whatever the case may be. And then he said, in comes Ned Stark right after the whole thing was done, and he never even explained himself because he didn't think that he felt like everybody was going to judge him based off of, his actions alone. So he just felt like it was pointless to not tell nobody. And Brianna was like, well, if that was the truth, then why didn't you tell people that was what was going on? You know what I'm saying? And she ended up feeling sorry for him and stuff like that. He ended up passing out inside of the tub because, his hand is all fucked up. They chopped his hand off, so he don't got no medicine or nothing. He just running around with a chopped off hand in a lot of pain and all this and that. So That's pretty much going on. And I like how they like pushing Jamie and them two together. And then Gendry ended up leaving.